What is going on, everybody? This is the first installment of Techbot After Dark. Kind of a little backstory. I kind of want to start the Techbot After Dark thing. I've been looking for something to kind of, do additional. I know I do the live stream on Friday nights with Wanko. I try to do 2 videos a week. And I was like, you know what? I need to find something else that I can do additional. And, the whole Techbot After Dark idea kind of actually came up as a joke. That's the best part about it. The whole Techbot After Dark thing came up as a joke. And I thought, it came up during one of our live streams with Wayne. And I knew it's funny is I can't even remember what the premise that we were talking about, how this came up as a joke. But I'd like to say that I'd have to credit it to like Bearded Barbarian or something out there. But I think that's where the whole Techbot After Dark hashtag started coming in. I don't remember what I said. I think I said something that it just, I don't know. To be honest with you, I can't remember the history. And I could probably go back and watch some live streams and find out where this came from. But it stuck with me. And after that show, it kind of stuck with me to say, hey, Techbot After Dark, man, that sounds like something catchy. That sounds like something awesome. And, I sat here for a long time going, I know I still want to do something. I like the idea of Techbot After Dark, but what is the show? I felt like I needed a premise for this show. And I sat on it and sat on it and sat on it, and one of the biggest things about Facebook, or not Facebook, yeah. One thing about YouTube that, you can kind of grab onto and you can kind of, get into and just do is, the biggest challenge when you start a Facebook. If any of you guys are wow, why do I keep saying Facebook? I keep screwing that up. When you start becoming a YouTuber, and you're thinking about starting yourself a channel, some people just are natural going into it. Some people, it takes them a little bit to jump into it. But here's the thing with YouTubers is it takes, really the only challenge to get into it is to just jump in and do it. You're gonna suck in the beginning, and it's gonna be, you're gonna see it develop over time, and you're gonna see it morph into something that, you didn't know what it could morph into. And that's really what because I kept thinking of an idea, and I was having a conversation with JB over at Discovery Bay Comics, and he just said, you just got to do it. You just got to do it. You got to get in there, have fun, and that's what we're gonna do. What this show is, I have no idea, but you know what? We're gonna go in. We're gonna talk about anything. I mean, I'm a sports fan. I'm a comic guy. I love Funkos. Anything goes, really. If we've got other YouTuber friends on here that want to come in and join and have some fun conversations, I mean, this is Techbot After Dark. I think at this point, anything goes. Excuse me. I think anything goes in this show. OTD with G, welcome. Thank you for joining me. I do want to, I know I didn't start out with this, but I want to hope, I can't even speak. I want to wish everyone a happy Halloween and hope everyone out there is staying safe. Over on the East Coast, we're pretty much wrapping up. There's still a bunch of groups outside my neighborhood that is still kind of hanging out, having a lot of fun, doing a lot of things. Yes, it's Halloween, time for some horror film chat. I'm down for that. If you guys didn't get enough of it during Wayne and I am down for talking some horror film chat. I love me some horror movies. Very well. As some of you guys know, I mean, I don't go with a lot all horror movies, but okay, I don't do it. That's one thing I don't do. I don't mess with it. But yeah, I love horror movies. I love a classic. I am a huge Alfred Hitchcock fan. Well, not a huge Alfred Hitchcock fan, but I would say I really, really respect his his old school style, and he was kind of like, maybe the Beatles of the horror film industry. His films today, by today's standard, probably, from kids who have never seen his films, would probably sit up here and say, you know what, I don't get it, I don't understand it, it's not that scary. But you got to remember, back in the day, back in the 60s, this stuff was cutting edge. This stuff was scary. What are you saying? We kept our lights out tonight. Wife was nervous about the kids coming to the door. Yeah, we had in our neighborhood, they didn't want to do this like purple pumpkin thing. If you had a purple pumpkin out, that meant that you were passing out candy. And but actually, what it seemed to be in our neighborhood, nobody had anybody come to the door. Everybody that was passing out candy in my neighborhood either was sitting out in their driveway or set up tables out in the driveway, not in the doorways, but out in the driveway, where kids can come and grab candy. And then most of them also had like disinfectant spray or gel or whatever they had. So it was a very, very safe environment. And some people had masks on, some people didn't. Whatever your point of view on that, you do what you want. You're a human being. You have the right to make up your own decision on that either way. But no, we had a lot of fun. There's some groups of people, in the neighborhood, that hang out and do what they want to do, and stuff like that. So but we did take the kids out. Kids had a lot of fun. In fact, I think they're still outside playing with some of the neighbor friends. So, you heard about the purple pumpkin thing too. Yeah, actually, that's what a lot of people do. A lot of people were putting there were still the classic people putting just the buckets of candy out there, and you just pick a handful out, blah, blah, blah. My wife and a lot of neighbors did just, they pre-packaged bags of candy, and, she put them in containers. And my wife, we definitely didn't have enough candy, or we put too much candy in each bag, because, we had kids coming out early, like 5, 6 o'clock, and they were already coming around. So I'm like, oh, I got to get the table set up and I got to get the candy out. And the kids still hadn't been dressed up. We were out of candy before we even took our kids trick-or-treating, which was funny. We have a lot of kids in our neighborhood, And I don't really know if there was kids coming from out of the neighborhood, but man, there was a lot of kids in our neighborhood. So we were out of candy probably within the first hour. It was crazy because, again, it was all she packaged it up. So all they had to do was take this little package of candy. You got, I don't know how many pieces she put in there. She even had some, if you were allergic to candy or something like that, she had those set up with like gummy bears or, Annie's gummy bears and, puffs or whatever, the Pirate's Booty, whatever they call them. So she had it was a lot of fun. So we didn't even think of prepackaging bags for kids to just grab. Wish we did, because we could have. Yeah, and I think she originally was starting to put them in those cellophane bags and wrapping them up in with the tie. And then I think just to go quicker, she ended up, I think, halfway through, she pulled out just the Ziploc bags, started putting them in the Ziploc bags and putting them in there. And so that way kids could just come in and grab a bag and move on. And I mean, maybe that's good, maybe that's bad, but man, we realize that next year, if we do it, we have to get like 3 times as many bags. We got to start packaging these things up a couple days in advance. We just did it today, or she just. I'm going to set myself. I didn't do any of it. The only thing I did was set up the table. My wife is awesome, and she took care of all that. They even we don't really carve pumpkins in our house. My wife likes to do this whole like painting thing. She likes to paint the pumpkins, and she did. My youngest was dressed up as Rapunzel. They're always some sort of princesses. One was Rapunzel, one was Elsa, and she did pumpkins themed after each one of them. Incredibly creative. I could never do it personally myself. Our son did his last year dressing up. His last year. Yeah, I think really with everything that's gone on this year, to be honest with you, I think the holidays really has snuck up on everybody. I mean, between the whole COVID situations, whether you've been a casualty of losing your job. A lot of people out here in Florida, especially since Disney did some huge layoffs lately. there's just been so much this year that's going on. And I'm not one. That's one thing I say anything goes on this channel. It's one thing I do have certain rules that I live by in my own personal life, as well as, in social media world or anything like that. I don't talk politics, and I don't talk religion. Those are two things I just don't get into, because, I feel that is a personal thing, and that's something you should always, go by. But there's been so much in the news, especially this being an election year. And if you haven't gone out and vote, definitely get out and vote during, on election day, if you didn't get a chance to vote early. I voted early, and I just wanted to kind of get it out of the way and get it done with, because best power we have is to be able to vote. So again, I'm not hating on anybody, which way or the other, whatever side of the fence you go on. That's your own personal business, and that is your choice as an American to make your best decision on who you want in there. Best thing I can only say in that realm before I stop any talks about politics: go out and vote. Don't forget that. Your wife does the painting of the pumpkins too. See, we didn't set we put the pumpkins on the table that we had the candy on. Then when we were done, we kind of moved the pumpkins over to the into the doorway. And it was funny was I screwed up because I just before the live stream, like 5 minutes before the live stream started, I happened to all of a sudden the doorbell rang, and there was a kid. I'm like, I don't know what to do. We ran out of candy. Sorry. Nice little girl, and it's like I got nothing for you. So I had to shut the light off after that. Some people are still used to the whole, if your light's on, then you're passing out candy. And I think mine is usually on. I've got mine on one of those smart switches, so it stays on either way. It's just used to, it's just on a timer, so I really don't pay much of attention to it. Yeah, I ran out of candy. I should have given her a pop. Yeah, I probably should have given her the Annabelle doll that's in the garage. God, I hate that pop. But yeah, we can, like I said, we completely ran out of candy by the first hour. We ran out of candy before we took our kids out for trick or treating. Luckily she was, I don't know, maybe junior high type age. It was just a single kid. But there was plenty. My neighbor had a bunch of candy, so I'm sure my neighborhood. We only did one. We didn't even go down a bunch of the streets. We just did a big loop, and our kids got a buttload of candy. So, missing one house is not that big a deal. Maybe I'll get egged, but that just happens. It is what it is. I mean, I could have been like one of those real jerks and gotten her an apple or something like that. I don't want to be that guy. Back in, I don't think I've seen them much nowadays, but I still remember back in the day when I was a kid and going trick or treating. I still remember you'd always get that one old lady or something like that that's passing out candy or carrots or something weird. Or yeah, you go into that dentist house and he's passing out toothbrushes. Come on, man, that's just wrong. People are passing out the normals. I think I was watching the show. I was watching some episodes. I don't know if any of you guys watch them. I'm addicted to them, but it's a show called Good Mythical Morning. Fantastic show. These guys make me laugh. I've even had some people tell me they kind of, see me and Wayne kind of like as a Lincoln Rhett. But this week they were doing, and I haven't watched the newest one where they picked the worst one, but they were going after the worst of the worst of holiday Halloween candy. I don't see them much anymore, but to me, when I was growing up, the worst holiday candy you could ever get was those, remember them Now and Laters? No, not the Now and Laters, the Good and Plenty. Good and Plenty. God, those, black licorice. Who eats black licorice anymore? They still sell them, and they still say from time to time people will still, give those away and stuff like that, but why are you even buying them in the first place? Who eats black licorice anymore? I think it was like back in the day, there was like a drugstore type of thing. I don't know. I don't know what people were thinking about back then, But it's really hard to pick. Hey, what was your think back? I'm not talking about today. I mean, today it is. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff out there. But when you were a kid, what was the worst thing you got in your Halloween basket that when you saw, you just discarded that thing so quickly that it was you just pushed it away real fast. You're like, nah, forget this. I could just toss these out and not even worry about it. Wasn't it? Oh, Razzles. Those were like those. Weren't they almost like what were they? Smarties. It was just that compressed sugar, wasn't it? Razzles. Yeah, Razzles were up there. I mean, you could only eat so much of that compressed. It was like almost like supposed to be compressed candy or sugar or something, but it was like sawdust to me. I think they were called too damn hard to chew, and Brennan's and shaped ones. Oh yeah, I don't know. That's what I think. I think of those like Razzle bottle cap things that they used to have. Now I remember a lot of people hated them, but the Charleston Chews. I love Charleston Chews. They were chewy as hell, but man, I love those things. Runts, I don't know. I can't hate on Runts too much. But yeah, it's the same premise. As a Smartie or the Razzle, where it's basically like compressed sugar, except for that one has a hard coating or whatnot. But yeah, I mean, you could only eat so many because it would start to hurt your teeth after a while, just because of how hard they were. But yeah, I couldn't hate on Grunts. I mean, come on, they're fruit shapes. You could pretend that you were eating fruit. Come on, we'd use any excuse to eat candy back in the day. It was easy. But I hope you guys. Speaking of on the Funko front, I was trying to pull it back up. I was trying to pull up my buddy J.K. Ellis because he just showed him up there. He had messaged us during the live chat the other day that about the black light. We got to talk about black light. I got my black light box up over here. I think it looks fantastic. In fact, the video that I'm looking through, if you guys can see it, it does no justice to it. These things look fantastic. And I did not get one of the Carnage ones. I will eventually. I think Funko is going to bring those back into the shop, to be honest with you. But they are finally doing a DC. So, I kind of agree that when we talked the other day that I think Funko, I think the black lights are going to be real popular. I think those are going to start to become a 2021 thing. That's going to be the next big thing. Although I really wish they do more. They would continue the Marvel Zombie line. Kind of replace. I don't think they really brought out a Venomized item in a while. But stop doing the Venomized and do all the zombies because, man, I love the zombies. In fact, I just actually want to ask you guys if you guys can see real quick. So up here, I've got my box and I put all my Marvel Zombies on top. What do y'all think? Think I should take those Marvel Zombies out of the box? I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I'm just setting them up here in the boxes for right now. And then I've got my my black light box right here. But I absolutely love it. And I did make this box, by the way. I'm not bringing it up close because the measurements weren't 100%. I'm no carpenter by any means, but I'm proud of myself. I made that box myself. I wired it up myself, so I was proud of that. I'm happy with it. Box is nice, and no, it's what's funny is the purple shows up more on the camera. If it right here, live in person. I mean, you got the purple shine down. But it's not overwhelming here. It's some reason the camera picks it up a lot more. I don't know why. It's kind of weird. But I wanted to bring this up because they are bringing out, and I can't. What's funny is normally at one point on Funko's Instagram site they were actually posting up a lot of stuff, and then it's like they stopped. It's like why wouldn't you put this up there? But they do have the pops up there, and I JKL posted up. If you're not a subscriber to JKL, definitely hit him up. JKL_awesome. He comes up with some great information. But these are going to be the DC Funko Pops. I guess they're supposed to be coming out in November at some point. I don't know. I'm a Marvel guy. You all know that. a big Marvel guy, but I mean, these look pretty good. I think the Joker one looks to be the best one. I think Joker looks to be the best one out of the group. I think Harley's going to pop more. I think she just that with the black light on her is just going to really stand out. Unfortunately, I don't think they did that well with Batman. I understand how they did the blue, but to be honest, if you look at it, and maybe it's going to look better when it's in person, but that picture doesn't know justice. That kind of looks like one like a Batmite, the fat Batman. I didn't care for it. I don't know about that one, but the other two look fantastic. Joker, I may pick up, and now if I keep picking up more black lights, man, I'm just gonna have to start building more black light boxes and just stacking them all over here. I don't know. You prefer to keep your pops in the box? I'm either way. If to me, the way I see it is, if it's a pop that's mine, and I don't ever plan on getting rid of it. I don't plan on, I don't plan on selling it. It's something that I don't plan on releasing for my collection. Then I have no problem taking them out of their box, because to me, I mean, I'm not selling it for, for the money of it. I like them because I like the look of them. I like and sometimes there's some pops you just like the black lights. They have to come out of the box. They look so good out of the box that you have to take them out. But sometimes I mean, even the zombie ones look great, and those ones would probably look pretty good out of the box as well. But it doesn't mean I don't keep the boxes. All the boxes are in my closet and everything like that. But oh yeah, Batmite, man. I don't know. I always thought Batmite was basically just like the fat Batman. I don't know what the story behind it. I'm not that. I don't follow DC that much, so I don't know if it was a comic book or whatever it was that trended that. But yeah, that's definitely, I don't know about that one. But and here's actually another. It looks like somebody took an image of them partially glowing. Those are actually bad pictures, because you put it right on the front face of Joker. You got to put it over the top, really make them shine and pop. But yeah, I just don't know about that Batman right there, just because of their placement of the blue. I know you got to do a dark blue. He's in an all black outfit typically. I think he's just not gonna pop the right way with the black lights, to be honest with you. Like I said, he looks like the fat Batman. Like I said, the Joker's gonna stand out. The pink on Harley's really gonna stand out. I'm a sticker to keep things pristine. And hey, there's nothing wrong with that. There's out of box people, there's in box people, and I'm kind of probably kind of like in the middle. Now, I mean, I have a lot of pops up here that I just keep in the box, that I don't pretty much plan on ever taking out. Like all my Marty McFlys I have, because I don't know if you guys seen some of my videos. I am on a Marty McFly kick. I absolutely love. I'm trying to find every single one of them that I can get my hands on, because I know there's a lot. Or anything Back to the Future, Doc Brown. I got the Biff Tannen. But, well, that's not meaning that I'm tired of talking. That just means I've been up way too damn early. And I've been doing too many things. But yeah, I don't. If you look at this picture, even from the other one, neither one's doing Batman any justice. I think if they were going to start with DC, they should have done kind of like how they did with these. It was almost like an Avenger type setup, where I think they should have done like a Justice League setup. You should have done a Flash. You should have done an Aquaman. Should have done a Wonder Woman. Superman. Should have done the Justice League. I think that would have been a better setup than doing Batman, Joker, and Harley Quinn. Because really, in this instance, Joker and Harley Quinn are going to be the two most popular, I think, over Batman. I don't know. I don't get it. Let's see what Funko actually has going on their website right now, because I don't think or on their Instagram, because I don't think they have a whole lot going on at the moment. No, not really. I got the stuff with the dog talking about. Got the TL. Yeah, is it just me? No, being a Marvel guy. Now I'm a big music guy. I love music stuff like that. I mean, I used to be in a band when I was back in the day. I used to play bass, way back in the day, and had a lot of fun. But is it just me, or is there like a huge wave of music pops coming out? Not saying I'm hating it by any means, but there's just a ton of wave of music pops, and to be honest, it's not top on my list. I'm thinking if I got a particular musician or something, yeah, I would keep it, but I'm not gonna go after any sets on that one. Um, the monsters, these ones I like. I really like these, but this is actually pushing for the pop blitz, but the monster pops I definitely like. I think those are cool. And of course we have all the see, I was talking about these ones the other. I kind of want these two. This is from The Shining. These two are creepy, and again, I don't know why I don't like Annabelle, but I don't mind having those. I don't know. I'm weird. I'm complicated. Some villains would have looked good. I agree with you. Don't get me wrong, but I think if you're going to start a DC line, if you're going to start it out, I think you should have started out with a Justice League setup instead of just doing Batman. Granted, Batman has some of the most iconic villains out there, with the Joker, of course, topping them all. Harley Quinn is just hot right now because of what's the movie? I can't even get in my head anymore. Suicide Squad, and of course, I still think the Penguin, the Riddler, all of them are just classic villains, and I think Batman's got some of the greatest villains, well over Superman. And I think Flash probably has the next best villains or something. Birds of Prey, though, I didn't care too much for it, to be honest. I think they lost a good opportunity with Birds of Prey. I would like to see them do more with that, to be honest with you. I don't know. I was mixed on that. I thought it was good for what it was, but I really think they missed some good opportunities with that movie. I think it could have been better than what it was, to be honest with you. I'm expecting a lot from Suicide Squad 2, since for me, one of my favorite directors. I mean, I love James Gunn movies. I absolutely do. And he does some fantastic movies, and the way he sees stuff is just awesome. And I think he's going to do real well with Justice League 2, especially with the lineup of characters. They have a ton of characters in that movie. I don't know if any of y'all seen some of that trailer where they show all the different villains that are going to be added into that. I don't know what the big deal, the contract dispute with Will Smith to bring back, was it Deadshot? But, I think that would have made that movie a little bit better bringing him back. But I think they're going to ride off of Harley in that one. Oh, yeah, they definitely could have done a lot more with Birds of Prey. It was open for it, too. And, I mean, there are some scenes in there that I just thought were, I mean, they were, what point were they in for the movie? I don't know. Some of it just didn't make any sense. I mean, maybe you're trying to explain the craziness of these people, but I don't know. I didn't get it. I wasn't feeling it. I mean, I'll say it's probably going to be better than the new Batman. And I know I've been ridiculed up and down and left and right, and I'll probably still watch it when the Robert Pattinson Batman comes out. Hope for the best, expect the worst. I don't know. I'm not feeling the new Batman. I don't like the outfit. I don't like the car. I just don't think it brings any substance to the story. And in fact, in that, that's what really, really pisses me off about DC's movies. I don't know if any of you guys, Marvel, at least when they bring out certain movies, they have a sequence and they always have something that ties one thing into the next. And, they had something great with the Christopher Nolan Batman, Dark Knight series. It was fantastic. Everything about it was awesome. Even the third one that didn't get as great a praise, of course, as the second one. You can't beat the second one, but you know, I think they had something really, really good. They were building up something with Robin at the end, and then you go and just stop it. And then you go into this direction, and it's like, what direction are you going in now? Is this younger Bruce? Is this what? I mean, to me, it seems like from the trailers, this is like maybe a younger version of Bruce when he's starting to just get into it, starting to become the Batman. I mean, and mind you, and my wife tells me up and down, yes, am I biased because it's Robert Pattinson? 100%. I can't stand the guy. I don't like the guy. I don't think he's a good actor. I think he's a one-trick pony. I don't care for his acting. I don't think he's a very good actor, and I think he was a horrible cast for the Batman. I mean, yes, nobody's going to beat Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton is the Batman, even though, and he's probably the only reason. The fact that Michael Keaton is supposed to be making an appearance, the Michael Keaton Batman is supposed to be making an appearance in this. I guess something with the multiverse or whatever their multi-zone, whatever they're doing with this. But I guess even Affleck's coming back for it. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is on that. But I don't know. I don't get it. I just, like I said, maybe I'm very biased because it's Robert Pattinson, and like I said, I'll still watch it. But I mean, I'm going to judge the hell out of it. But I'm not going to say Michael Keaton was the only great Batman, because I think what's his name from the Christopher Nolan series was fantastic. I think he was great. The Snyder Cut, though, I wasn't sure about it until I seen the trailer that he dropped, and to almost see the original Justice League trailer and this kind of side to side, oh my God, is it so much different? You know, they really destroyed the Justice League when they brought out that other movie, whether that was commercial or whatnot. Christian Bale, there it is. He did a fantastic Batman. I think he was fantastic. And I didn't even hate on Affleck's Batman. I wasn't even, this much up in roar about when Affleck was cast for that. I still think George Clooney will always be the worst Batman of all times. So I put Robert Pattinson, at least right now, without even seeing the movie, I'm going to put Robert Pattinson right in between Val Kilmer and George Clooney as the worst Batman of all time, without even having the movie come out. Again, I'm being biased. I'm judging him because I can't stand Robert Pattinson to begin with. I've never seen a good movie of his. I think his acting is, I don't know, it's over the top. It doesn't make any sense. Like I said, just not a fan. Good to hear that you're not a fan. Again, will I still pay the money to watch the movie? Yeah, most likely. I will still pay the money to watch the movie. But I don't know. If they're basing this as an early Batman of when he's coming out, he just looks like he's, that pissed off teenager that just got yelled at and had his cell phone taken away. I mean, that's really that's probably a bad judgment on it, but I don't know. The eyeliner, I mean, they all had eyeliner. I can't judge them on that. Every single one of them did, but I don't know. I don't get it. I think the moment I heard that I thought it was a joke, to be honest with you. I thought when I heard Pattinson was the next Batman, I thought it was a joke. And of all of the actors in Hollywood, that's who you had to pick? Come on, man. You got to tell me there wasn't someone better in that casting room. I mean, I mean, to give you a special gift, a special surprise to the casting person? I don't know. I don't get it. I don't like the guy. And if there's any Batman people in this chat that wants to try to change my mind about that, feel free. But I don't know. Like I said, I'm judging Robert Pattinson as just being a bad actor to begin with. I mean, George Clooney's not a bad actor, but he was a bad Batman. Plain and simple. But, I don't know. I just think where I was going with that, and I completely got sidetracked, but, they don't really seem, Marvel doesn't really seem to connect the dots, and I think that's my biggest thing with that is, you know, you had some you got Shazam that came out, you had Aquaman that came out, you got Wonder Woman, who's they can build the franchise off of Wonder Woman, to be honest with you, because those actually have been halfway decent. 1984 is supposed to be pretty good, but where's the connection of the dots? You rush Justice League to come out, and hopefully Snyder can help you and resurrect and actually bring some justice to the Justice League. I think he can. I mean, the guy's a fantastic director as it is, but why didn't you just let him do it this way in the first place? That's a good question. I don't know. Exactly. That's my point. How many movies can you actually hold on? Now I got to ask the question. Let's go to his Wikipedia page. Robert Pattinson. How many movies has he been in that is actually any decent? I can't think of anything, but let's bring this up because maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that he did something that I didn't remember. But of course, Twilight, we're going to cross Twilight out altogether. Goblet of Fire, he was barely in that. He was brand new. And then he was a ghost in Order of the Phoenix. So, really, he was in there for a whole 20 seconds. So, I'm not going to really count that as much. Of course, Twilight, it is what it is. The teenage girls of the time, were all over him and stuff like that. Water for Elephants. Again, a chick flick. Didn't care much for it. What has he done that isn't a chick flick? There's another good question. Rover, Map of Stars, Queen. Who's even heard of some of these movies? I don't know. The Lighthouse, The King, Waiting for Barbarians, Tenant. Okay, that one. I've heard some good things about that movie. But I think there's other good actors in that movie that I think is going to make that. But I didn't know he was in that, to be honest with you. But I heard that one's actually pretty good. But yeah, you go down this list, I can't. They're chick flicks. He's a chick flick actor. Why are we making a chick flick actor the Batman? Anybody got anything for that? I don't know. He's a chick flick actor. Let him continue doing chick flicks. Apparently, that's what he's good at. Why are we bringing that type of, acting and drama to the Batman? Batman is supposed to be dark, silent, and badass. I don't get it. Wonder Woman turned out way better than I expected. If they bring that to the table for the future movies and tie them together, and again, that's the question. And maybe the rumor has it that the Flash movie is supposed to tie in a lot of this stuff together, especially with the Speed Force and everything like that. And because we know Flash has the ability to jump through time with speed and stuff like that. Although I heard that in the Flash movie, I don't know. I think if you're going to do it's your first Flash movie, you have to bring back the greatest Flash villain, the Reverse Flash. And I heard they're not going to bring back the Reverse Flash. Maybe he's going to have a cameo. Maybe they're going to bring that back for number 2. But why wouldn't you bring back the Reverse Flash? Why wouldn't the Reverse Flash be your first villain? Again, DC, this is the things that makes no sense. This is why Marvel is killing you in the movie market. It's self-explanatory. You guys make absolutely no sense. Nothing makes sense. Nothing ties together. You miss the mark. You're trying to rush these things to try to beat Marvel, to try to keep up with Marvel, but Marvel put 10 years worth of time into make Endgame what it was, to make Infinity Wars what it was, which was freaking fantastic. And they're going to do the same thing. They're going to build up for another 10 years for Secret Wars. I guarantee you that's going to be the next one. My own opinion. Secret Wars is going to be the next one. And, I think I even read a thing with the Russo brothers who did Infinity Wars and Endgame, and they said that they would be willing to come back and direct, but only if it was Secret Wars. So I've heard rumors of them coming back to do a direct. So that means we're going to have Secret Wars on the horizon. We're going to see Kang the Conqueror. We should see Galactus at some point. I'm excited for that. Okay, Waiting for Barbarians was great. Johnny Depp was awesome. I remember Pattinson in it. Waiting for the Barbarians. I've never even heard of it. I guess maybe it's something I'll have to check out. I've never even heard of Waiting for the Barbarians. Yeah, he's actually right on the cover with Johnny Depp and Mark Rylance. I never heard of him. He's probably done some movies. I just haven't really heard of him. But yeah, I didn't even heard of this movie. Drama action 20 again. I think this is the other part. Again, it came out in 2020. Who's actually gone out and watched movies in this day and age? I haven't been to a movie theater, to be honest with you, probably since Endgame. And that's only because I take that back. We took the kids to go watch Addams Family at the end of last year. And that was probably the last time we went to the movie theaters all together. What's up, Kate Titus? Thank you for joining, buddy. That's probably the last time we went to the movies. And of course, after, holidays went through and getting through the holidays, and then the COVID thing happened, movie theater shut down. Let me ask you this. This just brings up on a new topic. Okay, I'm done ranting about DC, at least for right now. That topic may come back up later. But how many people out there would love to see these theaters? I mean, because to be honest with you, let's talk Black Widow. We're gonna go into Marvel a little bit. I'm so waiting for Black Widow. Plus, because I need a Marvel movie. I need a new Marvel movie, man. I need a new Marvel movie to watch. And they need to bring her out to video on demand. Stop pushing it back. It's supposed to come out in March or May. And then they push it back to November, which is actually this November is when Eternals was supposed to come out. The Eternals got bumped. Everything's getting bumped. Here's the thing. You think about it. If they wait until next May because they want to put it in theaters, well, Regal Theaters is already pretty much closed up 75% of their theaters. AMC is about to go bankrupt. The only thing that may save AMC, and it depends on if they're even interested in it again, is I know at one point Amazon was putting an offer for AMC back when they were really struggling and decided to not take it up. But I mean, really, if you wait to the theaters, you're still not going to see the amount of money, because what theaters are you going to put on? Where are you going to put these movies on? Why not put it on video on demand? I'm sorry, but that is going to be the way of the future. I would much rather and I know Disney tried it with their whole, Mulan thing on Disney Plus, but they tried it with the wrong movie. I mean, I'm sorry, there wasn't a whole lot of hype for Mulan in the first place. So put Black Widow. You don't know how I would be the first one to sit up here and say, I will pay $30 to watch Black Widow in my own home from the get-go. I mean, how much more comfortable is that? I don't got to worry about going out and spending $20 on a bucket of popcorn and a small dinky soda, or having a bunch of people. I can sit on my own couch. I've got a great screen. I've got good speakers. I can get my own snacks. It's a whole lot more comfortable. I bring Black Widow to video on demand. Bring it. And especially if they're trying to keep up with Netflix, you don't have the content to keep up with Netflix right now. I was one up to say when Disney Plus came out, this was going to be a Netflix killer. It has not lived up to that hype yet because it has not brought out the content. It brought out Mandalorian first. Great. You brought Mandalorian when you first came out. Everybody watched them as they came out, and then everyone binge watched it, and then there was nothing. What'd you give everybody since then? Okay, great. We now have a new Mandalorian. Great, you put a new Mandalorian out a whole year after the first one, and within that time, you haven't put out any Marvel stuff. We still don't have WandaVision. We still don't have Falcon Winter Soldier. We still don't have Loki. We still don't have the What If series. Give us something, and you're not going to keep up with Netflix if you can't put out something. The way you're going to have to get and move people is to have those exclusive rights to the new movies. That's it. Make it to where if you want to see Black Widow, you have to get Disney Plus. Don't release it on iTunes. Don't release it anywhere else. Only release it on Disney Plus, or just do iTunes. Who knows? Make it out there. But I think video on demand, put Black Widow out. I'm stoked to see Galactus on the big screen. I am too. I think Galactus is going to be freaking fantastic on the big screen. Final Fantasy was just a tease. Galactus hands down. Your Galactus is your favorite character. He's probably up there with me. I don't think I really thought about it, but yeah, I like Galactus way more than Thanos ever was. But I do like the build-up they did with Thanos to begin with. I mean, Galactus is way more powerful than Thanos ever could be, to be honest with you. I like the fact of bringing in actually, you know what? I'd really like to see them bring in MODOK. I mean, the floating brain. Come on, man. That's awesome. I'd love to see that. And then Fantastic Four. Well, see, I think what did I just say a minute ago with Galactus, and who else were they going to bring in? The Time Traveler, which is actually I think that's where it's going to tie Fantastic Four into the whole realm, is because what's his name is Mr. Fantastic and Sue Storm's son, actually, but he became a villain and time traveler. And why can't I think of his? I just said it earlier, and I got a problem with that. My brain's all over the place. Hey, why did Final Fantasy come out? That's what you wrote. I don't know if that was autocorrect or whatnot, but that's what you wrote. You wrote Final Fantasy. I don't know. Actually, a great one. And again, I'm not up on all the comic books, man. If we got comic book guys, I know some of you guys are big comic book guys. You'd hit up even more. But yeah, I think Galactus would be great inside here. Why can't I think of that right now? Hold on, I gotta. Let's see. What are they talking about? New Marvel movie villains. What are they talking about? Oh, you're doing voice to chat? Yeah, I could see that coming out. Oh, Kang the Conqueror. That's who I was thinking about. Kang the Conqueror was actually, I think that, again, that's where the Fantastic Four is going to come into play with this, is because Kang is really the son of Sue Storm and Miss Fantastic, and he began to becoming bad and become one of the time jumpers. And I think the fact that they jump time is, I mean, somebody pointed this out the other day, and it was like, why didn't I think of that? Because in Endgame, they started jumping time and they started adjusting the time. Because even though he put the stones back, they've still screwed up the time. I mean, Loki is out there. He's adjusted the time. So nothing was put back. And then here's the other question is, I don't know if you guys ever remember it, at the end of Endgame, when Cap went back, he of course had the stones with him, but he also took Thor's hammer. What did he do with Thor's hammer? Did it go to Jane Foster? I don't know. I mean, where did the hammer go? Because technically, the only people that's supposed to be wielding are the ones that are worthy. Thor, we know Captain America's worthy. Who else is worthy? We know at some point Jane Foster wields it. She dies from wielding it, to be honest with you, because it basically takes her life force away from her. But we know she eventually wields it at some point. MODOK, I think is going to be a great villain. I don't, but I don't know if we're going to see him though. That's the question. I would like to. I'd like to definitely see him. And then on top of it, you got to think about this. And I'm not hating it either because I think there's starting to be a great crossover coming along between Fox and Sony. You know, Spider-Man is going to be the greatest, person to jump between the MCU world and the Spider-Verse. I think Sony's building up something fantastic over there too with Venom 2 coming out. Of course, they've already built up Venom. I thought Venom, I know it got mixed reviews, but I liked it. I think the end scene was kind of weak. I think there could have been a little bit more done with it, but you know, I'm not hating on it. I think it was done real well, and they kind of set it up into the next. Um, I think casting Woody Harrelson for Carnage was fantastic. That was a great cast. I mean, Woody Harrelson can take the crazy and bring that to a whole new level. And I think of course we're gonna see a cameo from Tom Holland Spider-Man in there at some point, and I think it's gonna be fantastic to build that. And I would love to see that connection between MCU and Fox. No, sorry, MCU and Sony grow even bigger and even jump into there. I think Deadpool is another one that can jump between the two verses because Deadpool in the comics had so many had jumped into Spider-Man comics so often that I think that Deadpool is another one. I mean, we already know that MCU signing Ryan Reynolds to a huge contract, so we already know that's going to mean multi movies. Whether it's a cameo, whether it's a partially in a movie, whether it's another whole movie. I mean, we all know, I don't think there's another actor on the planet that could play Deadpool as well as, I mean, that character was almost like they were thinking of Ryan Reynolds when they created him. There's no one else that could play Deadpool but Ryan Reynolds, hands down. And if they ever tried to replace him, I mean, that's just like, I think the greatest idea for Black Panther is not to replace Chadwick. Rest his soul, great actor, great person, and I would have even liked them to rework Killmonger's role, but I think Shuri taking his helm, I think, is going to be a fantastic idea if that's the direction they're going to go with. Where are we at? Spider-Man is a great tie between the two studios. I just don't want them to kill it. My wife is a huge Venom fan. We've seen it at least a dozen times. I really think Sony, again, unlike DC, who can't seem to, take any advice or learn from their mistakes by any means, I think Sony is taking some hints from MCU. They're building up. They started with Venom. They're going to build up with Venom 2. They're going to start building up this Spider-Verse because we all know that, I mean, I think out of any superhero on the planet that they've ever been created, I think Spider-Man has the best villains of all time. I mean, you could argue that as a, Batman also being the Joker and stuff like that, but Spider-Man has so many villains that I think he is some of the greatest. I mean, you got Electro, you've got, of course, Green Goblin, you got the Hobgoblin, you've got the Red Goblin, you've got Carnage, of course, you've got, oh man, the list just goes on and on and on. Like I said, I think Spider-Man's got some of the greatest villains, and I would like to see them jump between these, and I think they're going to build up all these questions. To be honest with you, I think Marvel, through whatever they're doing with Black Widow, because of course we all know Black Widow was a prequel and supposed to be set in time right after Civil War, that I'm wondering where they're going to go with that as far as, there's got to be something connecting into it. And then I think there's going to be a lot of questions that are going to be built up from the internals. We all know that, of course, I think I think Anthony Hopkins is going to be brought back at some point with the Internals, because we all know that, the Asgardians are probably an older race than the Eternals are. So we would assume that he should know of them, or Thor should even know of the Eternals to begin with. And I think that's where that tie-in is going to be. But I think everything's going to tie all the way up to the point where it gets to Doctor Strange, the multiverse of madness. And I think there's going to be so many questions of things getting pulled from here, from here, from here, from here. And they may even pull in, people in the X-Men may even be in a different multiverse. It's possible that the Fantastic Four is in a different multiverse. And that could explain why, when the snap happened, the first snap happened with Thanos, they weren't affected by it, or they weren't there. That may be how they explain it. I think this multiverse thing is going to go. I mean, it's going to bring everything to a whole new level, because now, that brings a lot of questions. I mean, is Black Widow truly dead? You could say, yeah, well, it had, you can't come back from the Soul Stone, but Cap put the Soul Stone back. So that even brings back another question for Red Skull. Red Skull doesn't need to protect the Soul Stone anymore if it's gone. So are we going to see more Red Skull? I mean, you see how the questions can just go on and on and on and on with how they're going to go with this. Mysterio, again, I forgot about Mysterio. Easily a great villain. What they didn't with him was not ideal for me. I don't think he's really dead, to be honest with you. I mean, you've seen with the end credits. And I mean, how else would the news guy, I can't remember his name, but how else he got that footage and that stuff sent to him, when the rest of his guys left? I don't know. Maybe there's something I'm missing there. Maybe I gotta go back and watch it again. But I don't really think Mysterio is dead by any means. I think he wanted to give Spider-Man that image. We all know he was the actor. He was fake. He was all this stuff. I mean, Mysterio was the great manipulator, and he was a huge manipulator. And he wanted to make you think of everything. That he wanted to think you one thing and the other thing happened. So I really think we're going to see Mysterio again, to be honest with you, at some point. And I don't think we're done seeing Mysterio by any means. He always wanted to be Spider-Man, and I do like that feeling of what they had given him in that movie. He was jealous of Spider-Man, and he always was in the comic books too. He wanted, Spider-Man to think Peter Parker. He wanted Peter Parker to think that he was on his side. He was his friend. He was his helper. He was going to be a mentor. And then he manipulated and tried to take everything from him. Of course, we all know that never worked, but definitely, I think Mysterio is a great underrated villain, to be honest with you. He was a big part of some of the books. Remember, we saw the one guy's computer after Mysterio died, and then we got the news report. Yeah, I agree. Maybe, he definitely, the other guy had cut that up and put it on there. But again, I don't think he was. This is my perspective, and we may never see him again. But I think we're going to see Mysterio show up in the Spider-Verse at some point. I think you're going to see him on the Sony side. I don't know about that. I don't know if Jake Gyllenhaal was signed a multi-film contract or he was just signing for that one film. I don't know. But I could definitely see Mysterio showing back up. Again, it goes back to what he was. He was a master manipulator. Everybody wants you to think he's dead, and he's really not. So, I mean, who knows? It would be a big surprise if he wasn't dead. I mean, that would be a great surprise. Him dying was a big part of that story. Him bring. I don't think it would take away from that story. I mean, he ended it, and he tried to expose it. But I think basically Mysterio getting the last laugh, sending all that stuff to the news, and exposing who Peter Parker really was. I mean, that was definitely that was probably, I think, one of the greatest Easter egg clips of all when he did that. I thought that was great. But it's definitely I think we could see him should come back up. I could see him showing back up in the Spider-Verse side, to be honest with you. And I think they have being with if they can keep a good relationship with Sony and MCU. I mean, the possibilities between this are endless. Sony can still do their movies. MCU can still do their movies, and every now and then, you kind of have a connection between the two of them. I think it would be fantastic. I think it would be great. Continue to do it. I mean, the other question comes down to of, when you get into, we all know at some point, I'm waiting for Norman Osborn to come back, because we all know that when Spider-Man Homecoming? Yeah, Homecoming came out. We know that Stark had sold the tower. Well, I don't remember. I don't remember if we found out who actually bought that tower yet, but I'm pretty sure it was Norman Osborn, and put the Oscorp sign on it. That's who bought that tower. I want to see him come back, because that was the Sinister Six. He started the Sinister Six. I would love to see the Sinister Six come back. I think that would be fantastic, especially since DC's doing their Suicide Squad. I'd love to see the Sinister Six come in. I think that'd be awesome. The Spider-Verse. Well, we all know that they've already casted for Miles. Will be popping. What's happening, brother? I appreciate you joining me. I've just been actually really OTT. We've just been sitting here chatting comics for a while. But we all know that we're going to see Miles Morales at some point, which I'm a fan of. I like Miles Morales. I think Into the Spider-Verse was awesome. Awesome piece of work. I'm really excited. I'd like to see them. We all, like I said, I'm excited to see Miles come into play at some point. I'd also like to see them bring in Spider-Gwen at some point. I think that would be absolutely fantastic. And I haven't heard of casting for that one yet. But downside, I think where I was going with some of this, from what I've heard, I don't even think the Green Goblin is still part of the next Spider-Man. It's like, to me, Green Goblin was one of the greatest. I mean, although he's had some great villains, I think he was up there in the top with one of the top villains he faced. Why we haven't had the Green Goblin yet, I don't know. I think he definitely needs to get into there and go from there. But I do absolutely love it. And I think we're going to see him in multiple areas. And this is why I want to see Black Widow so bad. We got the Taskmaster, man. I mean, I was so excited to see the Taskmaster. He is awesome. And I think they're going to be using Taskmaster in different ways. Great villain. Absolutely love it. Taskmaster was probably up there with one of my favorite villains of all time. Just me. Wasn't Emma Stone already in a? Yeah, she played Mary Jane in the Amazing Spider-Man version. Why would they bring her back as Spider-Gwen? I think that's a horrible casting, to be honest with you. Plus, like I said, you already had her cast as Spider-Man once before. I don't know. I'd like to see that set up as a rumor. I don't know. I'd like to see them cast, maybe someone a little younger. Especially Emma Stone. I mean, don't get me wrong. I actually don't mind Emma Stone as an actress. I think she's pretty good. But she was already in, especially since they're bringing Jamie Foxx to resurrect Electro. That means you've already done that version. She's already been Mary Jane in his world. Why are you going to bring her back as Spider-Gwen? Makes absolutely no sense. You need to bring someone back that's a little younger, stuff like that. Kind of like you got to find someone that's like a Tom Holland in female version. I mean, if you guys understand what I'm talking about, you got to find that young, that's going to look young for a long period of time, that's athletic as hell, and that's going to be your Spider-Gwen. I think that's your answer right there. But like I said, I think with the way, and this is why I'm talking about this is I think the way Marvel, again, we can go on for where they're going to go with this and how this movie can interact with this movie, and this movie can interact with this, and this movie can interact with setting up Secret Wars and getting into Avengers 5 or whatever it is and going from there. I mean, we could just go on and on with how they can continue to do this, and the fact that we've got Kevin Feige, who's a giant fan as it is, making these calls, I think is fantastic. If only we could get DC to figure this out and actually figure out how to make a universe where all these characters can fit into the same thing and things make sense. And get rid of Robert Pattinson, by the way. Again, get rid of Robert Pattinson. Just scrap this movie altogether. Or, yeah, just scrap it all together. Just release the Snyder Cut of Justice League and let's call it a day. I don't think that Emma Stone would be bad at playing Spider-Gwen, and I'm not opposed to that, but again, everyone's going to look at that and go, well, she was already Mary Jane, and now she's Spider-Gwen? That doesn't make any sense. Especially, like I said, if you're bringing in the multiverse, and they're supposed to also be bringing back Andrew Garfield somewhere within that and stuff like that. Again, if you're bringing back Andrew Garfield to bring back a version of Spider-Man, then again, Mary Jane's already in his world. You can't bring Spider-Gwen back into that. It doesn't make sense. You think she's going to be... But how would that make sense? If she's coming back as Spider-Gwen in Spider-Man 3 with Andrew Garfield, where she was Mary Jane in his world. I don't get it. That's like asking Kirsten Dunst, who was Mary Jane in the Tobey Maguire world, to come back and play Spider-Gwen. It doesn't make sense. You need to have somebody completely different. Let's see. Is there anybody else that's set to be her? So there's two. Let's see. Will Spider-Gwen get her own movie? Which I think that would actually be definitely pretty cool. Yeah, it does say, Emma Stone. Wait, it says, let me bring this up on the big screen. It said, stop. You're on filming the MCU. This is one rumor I'd really like to want to be true. Over the years, we've met a few different versions of Gwen Stacy. First, there was Jessica Christian's version in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy, and then Emma Stone brought her. Was Emma Stone Gwen? Am I completely screwed up? I thought Emma Stone was Mary Jane. I might have my facts completely screwed up. I could be completely screwed up here. Now I got to look at that up. Amazing Spider-Man cast. Holy shit. Okay, I am completely wrong. So that would make sense then. Okay, Emma Stone being Gwen Stacy. That's right, I do forgot. Because, of course, we know in the comics that, he ended up going for Gwen Stacy at some point. Okay, I can now. Maybe I actually need to go back and watch these movies again because it's been so long that I completely forgot. I did forget she was not Mary Jane; she was Gwen Stacy. Yes, I know. I didn't catch that one. Yeah, okay. I screwed that one up. All right. Hey, it happens. It's sometimes there's so much timeline. There's so many timelines, so many actors, so many, especially with Spider-Man. We've had three different Spider-Mans, three different sets of movies, and it's easy. It's easy to get caught up in the timeline with these guys. And I don't think Toby was a bad Spider-Man, to be honest. I mean, Spider-Man 3 was horrible. Spider-Man 1 and 2, I mean, he was on point. I wouldn't. I would say if we're gonna say who's the best and who's the worst of the three Spider-Mans, I would definitely put Andrew Garfield as the worst Spider-Man. Tom Holland being the best, and Tobey Maguire kind of just being in the middle. He was just kind of mediocre. But or I could check with my fellow Marvel fan. Yes, that's a good point. Yeah, you got. Sometimes we all need a little bit of reminders, of where we're at and what we're talking about. So that's definitely true. Yes, I agree with you. I'm not perfect. I forget things. Again, it's been when did I mean that thing came out in 2012. It's been 8 years since that movie came out. And I probably haven't watched it since I watched it in the theaters, to be 1,000% honest with you. And I may actually go back and watch it, at least number two, being that Jamie Foxx is coming back and resurrecting Electro. Although I think I never did because I think Electro, in my own personal perspective, I think Electro had one of the greatest outfits ever. And he never wore it in the movies. He just made him glow blue and shit like that. I would love to see Electro come back with that classic yellow and green outfit. Just my own personal perspective. I think that would be awesome. But okay, so Emma Stone, and again, I wasn't opposed to Emma Stone. I think she's a great actress. So I'm not opposed to her. Do I think she's agile enough to do it though? I don't think that's playable enough. That's yet to be seen. So I mean, who knows? But I mean, that would make sense. She was Gwen. They're going to introduce her coming from the different multiverse. I mean, that's definitely possible right there. Totally makes sense. I mean, what do you guys think? If you guys were to rank the Spider-Mans, just like we do with Batman all the time. Of course, Batman's easy to compare for most people, but if you're going to rank the three Spider-Mans that we've had, where would you put as the top? Which one do you put at the bottom? Because that's going to answer which one you're going to put in the middle. Sorry, I need a drink real quick. But again, but that's where I've gone. That's why I've always been frustrated with the movies. I think Marvel is setting themselves up for something great, something fantastic, something out there, and I think we're in for another great 10 years worth of movies from Marvel. But when you talk DC, I had no idea. We're going to be living through the Robert Pattinson Batman era, which I hope that ends after one movie. God, I hope that ends after one movie. Will, like I said, I told OTT, I will still probably go watch the movie. I'm going to criticize the hell out of it. Just because I think Robert Pattinson is a horrible actor in himself, aside from being the Batman nonetheless. But again, that's just me. That's my own perspective. Yeah, I would agree with that. Haley Steinfeld would be would be good if she doesn't play Hawkeye's daughter. I think she's going to play Hawkeye's daughter though. I think you're going to see her show up in the Hawkeye series on Disney Plus, because you got to remember she it wasn't Hawkeye's daughter. Sorry, I'm thinking of the wrong one. Ant-Man's daughter becomes part of the Young Avengers at some point, and I don't believe Hawkeye's daughter does, but I definitely think she would come back. I think we're going to see her in the Hawkeye series. Into the Spider-Verse. No, I'm talking about just the three actors. I'm not talking about the animated side. I'm talking about which three Spider-Man actors would you put as your favorite or least? What is that, Will? Oh, trash. I couldn't because it's on a white background. I couldn't really tell what the hell that icon was. But yeah, I don't think Haley Steinfeld would be bad. I think she could actually carry that one, to be honest with you. And maybe I'm wrong, but I definitely think she could do it. I mean, she was into the Spider-Verse, so she's got the look. She's young enough, and she's probably got the agility to be able to do it. So you just have to cut the hair and dye it to fit the character. But other than that, I think she'd be a good fit. I agree. Tom Holland is the absolute best Batman, the best absolute casting for Peter Parker, nonetheless. I mean, you're not having an older guy trying to look young or something like that. I mean, he fits it all the way around. I mean, if you ever thought reading the comic books and seeing Peter Parker, I mean that Tom Holland fits that mold completely. Oh, toilet for Robert Pattinson. Yes, thank you. I appreciate it. Yes, right. It's gonna be a shit show. Am I still gonna pay to watch it? Yes, unfortunately. And maybe my point between paying to watch it is only to criticize the crap out of it, because I feel if I pay for it, then I deserve the right to criticize the shit out of it. If that makes any sense at all. And that's a good way to see it. I think every actor of Spider-Man was right for that era that the movie was made in. Like I said, Toby fit that bill. I was never hating on Toby, other than, like I said, Spider-Man 3 was just bad, especially his whole bad boy look. Yeah, that was stupid. But Andrew Garfield, I mean, coming in Amazing Spider-Man. I mean, I never hated on Andrew Garfield as an actor. I don't think he's a horrible actor by any means, but I think the tough part with Andrew Garfield was, I mean, he was a lot older, but he's trying to play a high school kid. It didn't really make a ton of sense, but I don't think he was horrible by any means. I mean, we're not talking George Clooney Batman horrible, but he was definitely good. But Holland is the ultimate best casting, and I hope they just throw the bank at him to continue playing Spider-Man for as long as he ever wants to continue playing Spider-Man. Because I mean, I think out of everyone can say that they like Captain, everyone can say that they like Tony Stark or Thor or something. I think I've met more people that all around, Spider-Man has a tendency to, I guess, connect with more people from what I've ever seen. I mean, like I said, I'm a huge Captain fan, but I would say my close second is Spider-Man. Spider-Man just has that way. Is he not only has he had that way to really connect with a lot more people as far as the comics go, but he's been the basis of so many characters getting their first appearances. I mean, so many characters have made their first appearance in a Spider-Man comic. And again, I said it before, he's got one of the best villain lineups of all time. So I again, at this point, just throw the bank. Back up the Brinks truck. Throw as much money as you can at Tom Holland, and make sure he continues to play Spider-Man. Make his career on that. Who cares if that's all anybody sees him as? Just continue to let him play Spider-Man. I'm all right with that. Yeah, oh yeah, a ton of villains. He has the deepest lineup of villains of all time, as far as anybody out there with Spider-Man. But for me, I would say, if we're talking about even some of the new shows coming out, I mean, I think the one I'm most excited for is that Falcon Winter Soldier. I may even do kind of what Wayne's doing with the Mandalorian team, where we're talking about it after the episodes. I may do something similar to that with that show, because that's just a fantastic show, and I'm gonna probably watch it multiple times to analyze all the Easter eggs and the things we can out of that. But that, I think, is gonna be fantastic, and I think that's rumored right now, because there's actually been some set photos come out from that is where you're gonna first. That's where they're gonna start tying in mutants. Trust me, they're gonna start tying in some mutants into that one. And I think that's where it's Falcon Winter Soldier is also going to connect with the Black Widow movie, because I think you're going to see a mutant show up in the Black Widow movie. Why they weren't there during the final battle, who knows? I have no idea, but we will all find out all in good time. As we know, Marvel won't disappoint. Oh yeah, I agree. The Detective Batman comics were absolutely fantastic. The Everyday Street Thugs were great. I wouldn't even mind watching them. I think it would be cool, really cool, if they did something, even if they did like a Miles Morales style cartoon of the Detective Batman series. I think that would be awesome. They were some great writing in the Detective Batman series that I think could really jump into it right now, and I think people would enjoy it. But again, DC doesn't know how to do anything right as far as, I mean, mind you, they do great in their comics. I mean, I've read some DC comics and they do great storylines, but when it comes to trying to adapt that stuff to movies, they suck. I don't know how many times I can say that, but they suck. But that's my last rant against DC. But I think that's about it for tonight, guys. Unless you guys want to talk about anything else. This was my my first installment of Techbot After Dark. I'm probably going to try to start doing this every Saturday. I mean, maybe this wasn't the best time to do it, being it's Halloween, and there's a lot of people on that West Coast that still is out trick-or-treating or whatnot, and it's late out here. But I'm going to continue doing this. I like doing this. I mean, it's just a couple of us that get on here and just start talking comics, I don't really care. We can talk about whatever comes up, except for I don't talk politics and I don't talk religion. So other than that, we go from there. As I said, but like I said, it was something that I thought about doing for a long time, and I just figured, you know what? After talking to JB from Discovery Bay, I said, you know what? I just got to do it. Just jump in, do it, have some fun. Hopefully this will grow into something bigger. We can continue going. I mean, I don't know. Is there any other live streams going on right now? I know there's a couple. We got, I think Stop and Funko has been doing like an all day one for some reason. Oh yeah, we got a couple of live streams going, and I think Halloween Fiend PDX Jay Blitz is doing a Halloween auction right now. He's always doing auctions though, but I think a lot of times people may be at Saturday. Come on, I mean, Halloween on a Saturday. I mean, there's got to be some sort of possible, live stream or social distancing parties going on. I don't know. Who knows? I'm too old to go partying. I got kids. I'm too old, and I'm already ready for bed. I never, like I said, I think I said in the chat we did earlier, live stream that, I remember when I was a kid, I used to look at adults, taking naps all the time. And you're like, man, I can never understand why you sleep all the time. Man, that's my favorite thing to do. If you let me just take a nap, man, I would, if I could take a nap every day, we could bring nap time back to work. That would be fantastic. I think that would be awesome. Because I love taking naps. I don't know what it is. But guys, I do appreciate you coming and joining and hanging out with me on this Halloween. I hope you all enjoyed yourselves. You stayed safe. Social distance. You did all that fun stuff. And everyone is out there enjoying themselves on the Halloween, because as we know, Halloween is always fun and games until somebody gets the COVID. No, just kidding. I love Halloween. Halloween's fun. It's the one time a year that you can, just play around, pretend to be someone you're not. I always figured if I was right now, I think the only Marvel character I could ever play is the Fat Thor. So, I'm working on the beard for that. So we'll see. Maybe next year. Maybe if I stop shaving it by next year, I'll be Fat Thor style. So who knows? maybe we'll go that route. But like I said, Halloween's always fun, especially with my kids. My youngest was out there saying hi to every single person she could see. Saying Happy Halloween and stuff like that. It was cute. But it was hot for us. It was hot. We were hot and sweaty. I know some parts of the country is kind of cold. I don't know about you, Will, up in Massachusetts. I don't know where OTT is, but I mean, we were down here in Florida. We was hot. It was hot out there. I was sweating my butt off. So, we try to stay safe. A lot of people in the neighborhood, everyone was trying to pass out candy in the safest way we all could, and that's all anybody can ask. So, but I think that's gonna about wrap it up for the first installment of Techbot After Dark. Again, we will do this again next Saturday. Maybe we'll have some new topics to talk about. Maybe I'll have something big to talk about, or maybe we'll just come in here and shoot the shit as we do. So don't forget, please, if you can, don't forget to smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and also, I think this is also we don't, as I didn't really advertise this as much as I probably should, because I decided to do this last minute, but definitely start advertising this a little bit more. So get out there, let people know. I'll have 2 more videos coming up this week, as well as we have Wayne and Mr. Techbot next Friday. So keep an eye out there. Thank you guys for joining me. I definitely appreciate all the time you had. And hey, and if you're gonna be in Orlando in 3 weeks, definitely hit me up. Let me know when you're here. Hit me up on IG. Maybe we'll figure something out. We'll try to meet up somewhere or something like that, and do a little IG video and go from there. But hey, great chatting with you. Thank you very much for joining me, and y'all have a good and safe night. Enjoy yourselves.